What is up to everybody hopping in the live stream? If you are just now popping in, just now hopping through, thank you for waiting in the chat. Shout out to everybody here. We're going over the Thursday night football game first. We're going to be going with the Cowboys, the Lions, get into all that information, and then we'll open it up to the general start sits as well. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. If you're here, drop some W's because this is an important week. This matchup is the number one highest projected scoring game of the week. So you want to be grabbing some pieces from this where you can. I know you guys don't want to look at my boring face the entire time, so we will go through and look at the matchup statistics for this one. If you guys appreciate all this research that goes into it, hit that like button on the stream. It's free to you and helps me a ton. And we will go through and break down this matchup. Who do we start, JMO? Do we start JMO with Amon-Ra back? Yes, sir, we do. Yes, sir, we do. Shout out to everybody in the stream, man. Shout out to you with the roses as well over on TikTok. If you haven't checked out the YouTube, please go ahead and do that for me now. We got a better viewing experience over here. We look, though, at this matchup, guys. This is a very good one. We can see here the sportsbook lines up at the top. We have a 53.5 point game total. This is the highest of the week. The lines are minus 3.5. I think this total has actually gone up to 54.5 now, which is absolutely insane. So shout out to the books. Shout out for both of these teams being really good and the offenses and defenses doing their thing. But what's really great is that the defenses don't really do much, especially for the Cowboys. We do look at this. Dak Prescott, we'll look at these Lions matchups here first. The Detroit Lions are actually allowing the number one least amount of fantasy points to running back. So this looks like a really negative, bad, tough, disgusting matchup for Javonte Williams. Not one that we really want to be taking advantage of here, but it is Javonte Williams. The only other running back in this backfield is Malik Davis, and nobody's ever starting Malik Davis, so he can still be in our starting lineups. It's just going to be a little bit more risky because of the matchup it is. But Dak Prescott must start quarterback here. He's projected for over 20 fantasy points. I have Amon-Ra and JMO. Should I put one at the flex? I would put them both. Start both. Because this matchup, again, is a 53.5 point game total. You want every piece you can get. But Dak Prescott is a must-start in this matchup. All of the wide receivers are a must-start as well. You can see the cornerback matchup that they get. DJ Reed and Rocky Yassin, both of them are positive in allowing fantasy points to wide receivers. The Lions defense, again, is really good stopping the run, but they cannot stop the pass. They're not good over the top. We can see here the best matchup technically is the slot. They're a little bit better against the slot. So you're not starting Kevontae Turpin anyways, but if you wanted to and you're in a deeper league, he's not the best start. But overall, this defense allows a ton of fantasy points to the position. It's also an indoor stadium. The Lions are home, so no weather concerns here. There is some potential snow games this week too, so you guys definitely want to make sure to check out everything you can for these matchups to make sure you're getting it right. But we're starting Dak Prescott, obviously. We're starting all these wide receivers. I would still put Javonte Williams in our starting spot. If you're in a 12 team, you really can't afford to sit him. Jacob Ferguson, though, you can see the Lions are not allowing a lot of fantasy points to the tight ends. They allow the, I think it says 24th least amount. That's tough for him because he has been overshadowed by CeeDee Lamb ever since he's come back. The good thing about it, though, again, is that this game total is at 53.5 points, so it is going to be very high scoring. He can probably fall in the end zone if all things do go right. Just know if it's not that and that doesn't happen, we can be a little bit worried. We can definitely be a little bit worried. But we can go here and look at the I got another question is, do I start Amon-Ra St. Brown? You do. He's healthy in this matchup. Looks like he's not restricted at all. So you're starting Amon-Ra if you do have him on your roster. We look down here at the Lions side of things. We can see very positive, man. Everything for this Lions team is green because the Dallas Cowboys defense cannot stop a soul. The notes here at the bottom, the Cowboys can kind of stop slot wide receivers, but for Cowboys terms, that means absolutely nothing. Like, they still are very, very bad. But they also allow the very most points to wide receivers playing on the left side of the field. And that this week is going to be George Pickens. Expect a master class from George Pickens this week. 20, 30 fantasy points in this one. I do like it. Obviously, we can expect everybody to do good. But we look down here at the Lions specifically. Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, both of them get positive matchups. It is good for them. The only thing is, I do not trust David Montgomery in this matchup. I know it's a very positive one. Hold on. Somebody in the gifting TikTok chats, he said Javonte Williams or Travis Etienne. I would take Javonte. Again, I just talked about how bad this matchup is, but it is a 53.5 point game total. The Cowboys are going to generate offense. I do trust that a little bit more than I do Travis Etienne against the Colts defense. But David Montgomery, I would still be a little bit worried about in this one. Are we going Brissett or CJ Stroud? I would definitely go Brissett. Guys, if you haven't dropped your start sit question, please go ahead and do that. Like the stream if you haven't yet either, because I do appreciate it so much. Start Montgomery. If you have to. I would, again, because of how high the game point total is. If you're in a 12 team or more, you cannot afford to sit him. But if you're in a 6-teamer, I think Dave Montgomery is fine keeping on the bench. He will need a touchdown, but again, the Dallas defense they're just so bad. So yeah, he can still be started. Amon-Ra is back in this matchup. He gets put on Deron Bland, very positive cornerback, and allowing fantasy points to wide receivers. The Cowboys defense also allow the number one most fantasy points on a per route run basis to wide receivers. So you're starting all of these guys. You're starting him. You're starting Jameson Williams, even if Amon-Ra is healthy, which he is. The only issue is that they don't have a tight end. Brock Wright is out. Everybody's out. Laporta is out. So, I mean, you're not starting the tight ends anyways, but that's just some information. I am definitely starting Jared Goff in this matchup as well. The Cowboys are allowing the number one most fantasy points to the position at quarterback as well. So you're never going to be sitting him. Like, it's just that positive of a matchup. Ferguson or Juwan Johnson, I would still take Ferguson. Again, because of how high this game point total is, you kind of just have to do it. For everybody just now hopping into the stream, though, we're going over this Thursday Night Football matchup. If you want me to look at a specific matchup, I have them all written in here. So just ask your start sit questions. I will go ahead and look at those notes specifically for you, and we'll talk about it and go crazy. Hit that like button as you're hopping in here as well, dropping your start sit questions for all this information I'm about to drop on you guys. Are we starting Justin Jefferson or T-Mac? I don't hate T-Mac, but with JJ McCarthy back, I'm giving him one more chance. I'm giving him one more chance. I am. AJ Brown or Alec Pierce? Definitely would be going with AJ Brown there. Fergie or Pitts? This is a good question. I have Kyle Pitts starting in one of my leagues. Ferguson has more upside simply because of the matchup. We can see here it's a very negative one in fantasy points allowed, but it is a 53.5 point game total. So you kind of have to. You kind of have to and just hope he can get a touchdown. Hope. Are we going with Tesla or Mooney? With Amon-Ra healthy back in this matchup, I would not go with Isaac Tesla. It doesn't look like Amon-Ra is going to be on any type of snap restriction either. So that's all very positive for him. But it pushes Isaac Tesla back down the depth chart. So I would be going with Mooney here. It doesn't look like Drake London is going to be starting. Who do I stream at running back in a deep league? Give me your options and I'll let you know. Do I start Jameson Williams over Pittman even with Amon-Ra playing? I think that's perfectly fine. I am really trusting Jameson Williams this week. Again, with the positive game matchup, with how many points the Cowboys allow to wide receivers. Yes, we are also starting Amon-Ra. Jake Bates or Evan McPherson. I would go with Evan McPherson. I have Jake Bates starting in one of my leagues, but that's just because I've been holding on to him for a while. Do I start JMO? Yes. Everybody in chat, if you have JMO, if you have Amon-Ra St. Brown, you're starting both of them. You're not thinking twice. Hampton or Emeka or Watson? For now, I would take Emeka, but my answer when we get to Sunday is probably going to be Hampton. It just depends. We got to see the injury notes coming out on him. But guys, if you haven't hit that like button yet, please go ahead and do that. Follow if you haven't already as well. Followers' questions are prioritized in the chat, so it's just way easier for me to see it if you are followed. But it takes 2 seconds free to you, and I drop fantasy advice on this account so often to help you guys win leagues. We're about to get in the fantasy playoffs as well, so it's really important. Are we going with Schultz, Loveland? Oh, that's the wrong question. Schultz, Loveland, or Ertz? I would take Ertz. Loveland is not getting a consistent target share. He's splitting snaps, not even routes, everything with Cole Kmet. And then Schultz gets a really negative matchup against the Chiefs this week. Goddard at the flex. If you have to. I typically don't like flexing tight ends, but if you have to, you absolutely can. One thing that we want to avoid, though, is this Titans and Browns matchup. As you guys can see here, 33.5 point game total. That is the number one lowest of the week, chat. Number one lowest of the week. You do not want to start anybody here. Cam Ward is a no, as always. Tony Pollard is a no, as always. It's not like anybody in this matchup is even good anyway. So you're not starting them. You're not starting Cedric Tillman. Amon-Ra or T. Higgins? Definitely Amon-Ra there. Ferg or Shakir? I would take Shakir simply, again, just because I don't like starting tight ends in the flex. Start 3. Are we going with Amon-Ra, J-Mo, Rashee Rice, or Olave? Yikes. Okay. Well, you're definitely going with Amon-Ra there. I like J-Mo as well, and then I would take Rashee. So I would sit Olave out of those 3. Ferg or Schultz? Yeah, I would take Ferguson. They're in similar situations. They're negative matchups as far as fantasy points allowed to the tight ends. But Ferguson, this game total is like 20 points higher than Dalton Schultz is. The touchdown upside is definitely there. Are we going Jameson Williams or AJ Brown? I would take AJ Brown, but I do like JMO a lot, guys. If you have him, try to put him in your starting lineup. Definitely, 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 definitely. BTJ or Godwin, man, yikes. At this point, at this point, I would take BTJ just because it's a little bit higher of a game total. Shout out to the super chat, man. Shout out to you. Everybody drop W's in the chat. This is prioritized. Let's get our thinking caps on, chat. We will go to the game breakdowns that I have written up to answer just this one specifically. Jaden Higgins, Aaron Jones, AD Mitchell, or Devin Neal. Well, let's go ahead and look at this Chiefs matchup here so I can kind of explain to you guys why I'm saying I don't really love Dalton Schultz in this week's matchup. We go down here. It has one of the lowest game point totals. Look at this, 41.5 point game total for this team. It's going to be a close game. It's going to be defensive centric. It's going to be all defense. It's going to be absolutely disgusting. So I don't really love starting Higgins here. It's a little bit unfortunate because he has been playing really, really good. We have to choose one, though. So Aaron Jones, AD Mitchell, and then Devin Neal. If Aaron Jones is coming into this matchup fully healthy, if we get news that he's not restricted whatsoever, I would go with him. It's a very positive matchup against the Washington Commanders. I can scroll back up for that for you. They, I believe, are top 3 in fantasy points allowed to the running backs. There's always just that worry of if he's going to be healthy or not. So we look at this matchup here. You can see that all of it is green. Now, the Commanders have been a better defense ever since Dan Quinn has taken over play calling. But this is still a spot where I think we can start Jones if he's healthy. If he's questionable coming into this one or has some kind of snap restriction, we would probably be sitting him, AD Mitchell, and then I'd probably still take Jaden Higgins for the upside there. But Aaron Jones is going to be my number one answer there. Shout out to you for the super chat. I really do appreciate everybody showing love. Are we going with Montgomery or Swift? I would take Montgomery. Swift gets a really negative matchup against the Green Bay Packers. I can go ahead and find this one for you too. The Green Bay Packers are one of the best defenses in stopping the run. Michael Parsons is definitely attributed to that, but they just split the backfield so much, it's like impossible to tell. You can see here they get the 22nd worst matchup along the 22nd least amount of fantasy points. But look at this weather, guys. It's going to be under 20 degrees Fahrenheit for the Packers at home. If any of you guys are in Celsius, just know that's freezing and you're never going outside in that. But it's bad. It's better for the running backs, though. But still, they're splitting everything, even at the goal line. So DeAndre Swift, I'm a little bit worried about. But he definitely does have the boom potential, like we saw last week against the Eagles. Half PPR, are we going JMO over Amon-Ra? No, you're still going Amon-Ra there. Still going Amon-Ra there. Are we going Hampton? I remember seeing you from the beginning of the chat. Shout out to you, bro. Sorry, I'm seeing your question. Are we going with Hampton, Harvey, or Monty? Pick 2. That's tough, man. That's tough because you kind of have to make the decision to get Monty in your starting lineup because it's tonight. If Hampton is restricted, I would probably just take Monty and Harvey for the guaranteed points. Like, this isn't one of those weeks where we want to take that risk to secure a good playoff spot. So I wouldn't take it. Even if Marion Hampton is coming back this week and he's fully healthy, I probably would start him over one of those guys, but I just want the guaranteed points. I'm not risking it this week. Are we going with Bo Nix or Joe Brr? I'm definitely taking Joe Brr in this one. This matchup with the Bengals and the Bengals. The Bengals and the Bills is way more positive than the one for Joe Burrow with the Raiders. It's a really good defense in allowing fantasy points, but again, one of the lowest game point totals because of how good that defense is and how bad the Raiders are. So I would definitely be going with Burrow. There we're going Dak or Burrow. This is an easy Dak for me. Easy Dak for me. I haven't projected for over 20 fantasy points this week. A lot of that is due to the game point total, guys. As we can see, when we get to the top, it's about to happen right there. Highest projected game total of the week. I think it's actually moved up to 54.5. So you're starting Dak everywhere you possibly can. And the defense for the Lions, as you can see as well, is actually really good against the run, allowing the number one least amount of fantasy points to the running back. So you can expect Dak Prescott to just air this ball out and have no worries about it. Are we going with Tesla or London? I mean, London if he plays, but if he doesn't, I'd pick somebody else up off the waiver wire. I don't want to start Tesla with Amon-Ra healthy. Dak or Burrow? Yeah, I would definitely be going with Dak on this one. Will Aaron Jones play? Should I start Jordan Mason or Tesla at the flex? To answer your question, I don't know if Aaron Jones will play. It looks like he's trending towards playing. If he does, I would start him over Tesla and Mason. If you have to still pick between the two, I would not start Tesla with Amon-Ra healthy, just regardless of whatever your start sit decisions are. Regardless of what those are. Burrow or Goff, yeah, I would take Goff in this matchup. Again, very high game point total. You don't want to sit out on that. Let's see. Do I start Debo or Chamiri DK? Wow, you're still going Debo for sure. Even with Terry back, you're still going DK. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. If you are still hopping in here, spam your starts of questions. I'm answering as many as I possibly can. Quickly approaching this tip off, so make sure to spam them and hit that follow button and like if you haven't already, because the followers' questions are prioritized first in the chat, so it's way easier for me to see it. I don't want to keep you guys waiting in the chat either. Are going with, what does that say? JMO is still a start. He is still a start. Yeah, with Amon-Ra, he is. Adunze or AD Mitchell? This is an understandable question because Adunze is questionable coming into this one. I would still go with him. AD Mitchell is just so boom or bust. It could be Messi one week. It could be Mitchell. We really have no idea because we're not in Tyler Taylor's head, and I don't even think he knows what he's going to do. And it's a low projected game point total as well. Are we going with, let's see here, Jacoby or DK full PPR? I'd take Jacoby Myers, man. If we saw from last week, if that's going to continue, I like Jacoby Myers. Debo or Alec Pierce is a good question. You know, Alec Pierce is top 5 in the NFL in fantasy points per route run as far as like a air yard share. He has some of the most air yards in the NFL. Somebody said, what do you think about Kenneth Walker? Kenneth Walker, I would start over Zach Charbonnet. You can see here it's a top 10 matchup in fantasy points allowed from this Falcons defense. And the Falcons defense have actually been getting worse. It's kind of disgusting. Who's winning tonight? Man, probably I would say the Lions, but I low-key want the Cowboys to win just because I don't want to see the Eagles be number 1 in the division. And that's coming from a Commanders fan. Like, we have nothing. I mean, we're just so bad. There's nothing we can do about it. But I don't want the Eagles to go back-to-back as division champions. So I guess I'm technically rooting for the Cowboys, which does not happen often. You probably won't ever hear from my mouth again. But Brenton Strange or Dalton Kincaid, I would take Dalton Kincaid because the Bengals are allowing the number 1 most fantasy points to the position. Another super chat shout out to you, bro. Red, thank you so much, bro. I appreciate you and everything you do in the stream. Tyler Shuck 9. Oh my goodness, we're not starting 9. Tua or CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud, very, very negative matchup. I would not trust him. 9, I don't think you can ever trust. Tua is absolutely disgusting. What kind of question is this, bro? What kind of chat, help us out here. Are we going Tyler Shuck, JJ McCarthy, Tua, or CJ Stroud? Let's help him out. He's asking stream. I want to see what everybody says. This one is absolutely disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. Let's go ahead and look at the Saints matchup here while chat is going ahead and answering that. I think it's down here. Tyler Shuck low-key might be the answer because you see the Buccaneers here. They are allowing a lot of fantasy points to the quarterbacks. They are top 5 in that. He doesn't have a ton of weapons, but you can see the Buccaneers are projected to win this game by over a touchdown. So it should be pass first, pass heavy. We do have Vele coming into his own and Olave. It's disgusting, man. CJ Stroud is probably the safest option because he's just the best quarterback, but the matchup is really, really negative. So if you want safety, go with him, but I would probably take Shuck for the upside. Or going with Mahomes or Daniel Jones, I would still take Mahomes in this one. Burrow or Goff, I would definitely be going with Goff, 100%. Amon-Ra or Olave, we are going with Amon-Ra in this one. How are we feeling about Jahmyr Gibbs? Always feeling good about Jahmyr Gibbs. Yeah, we got Patrick in the chat. T. Higgins, Zay Flowers, or Michael Wilson if Marv is out. If Marv is out, which I think he will as well, I'll go with Michael Wilson over all those guys. If not, I'll take T. Higgins. If not, I'll take T. Higgins. Mechie or Trey Turner. Or Trey Tucker, sorry. Yeah, I would go with Trey Tucker. It's a really, really negative matchup, but like there's nothing you can expect. You cannot expect anything from Mechie these days. It's crazy. He could give you 20, but he could also give you 3. So you never really know. I'll take the points. We're going Franklin, Vele. Oh, hold on. Where we go? There we go. Franklin, Vele, Neil, Mechie, start 1. I would probably take Vele, man, if I'm being completely honest, because Franklin does get a good matchup against the Raiders, but it's projected to be such a crazy blowout. There's a real chance that they just don't pass at all in the second half. Mechie is the highest upside guy if you want to go with him, but definitely the riskiest, in my opinion. Vele is going to have a catch-up game script against the Buccaneers defense, and they aren't that good. Amon-Ra, Nico, or JMO. We're going Amon-Ra for sure there. for sure. St. Brown, Jefferson, McLaurin, pick 2. I'd probably sit Terry in that one. The Vikings defense is not great, but he's the odd man out. Brissett or Burrow? I would actually take Brissett here. Really tough matchup for him. Not it's a tough matchup for Burrow as well. Like the Bills defense is not allowing a lot of fantasy points to quarterbacks, but I do like the consistency that we've seen from Brissett. I'm going with Bo Nix or Trevor Lawrence and Harvey or Judkins. I would take Harvey over Judkins in this one, and I would lean Trevor Lawrence. I would lean Trevor Lawrence for the upside over Bo Nix because the game is way more positive in fantasy points allowed to the position. It has a higher game point total as well. We're going with Christian Watson or Michael Wilson. Definitely Michael Wilson. I project him to have a game this week, especially if Marvin Harrison Jr. is out. If he is missing or if he's in there, then it's a bit of a different question. Bench 1, are we going Chase, Rice, Pickens, AJ Brown? What kind of question is this? How do you have the opportunity to do this? I would sit AJ Brown out of all of those guys, though. Guys, if you are in the chat, hit that follow button if you haven't already. Followers' questions are prioritized first. I will try to read out the followers' names as well because I do appreciate you guys, but I don't want to have you guys spamming in here forever because I do try to answer as many as we possibly can. Harvey or ETN? I'll go Harvey. AZ, thanks for the follow. Yo, Leilani, thank you for the roses. I appreciate that. Daniel Jones or Trevor Lawrence? We are going with Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes. It's not that negative of a matchup, so it's great for him. JMO, whoa, hold on, wait, what? Oh, is that Mayer, chat? Oh, Myers. Jacoby Myers. I was about to say. No, I would go JMO over Jacoby Myers. I was about to say Michael Mayer, chat. What? Monungai or AD Mitchell? I'll be taking Monungai. It's absolutely insane, but he's splitting. He's getting goal line work. He's getting pretty much everything we want him to get. So I do love that for him. But you never really know because they are splitting so much. Somebody in the chat, they said, are we going with Fannin or Gadsden? Wow. I would be taking Fannin. Again, we can look. I can scroll back up to this Browns matchup here. It is one of the most negative. The defense for the Titans isn't necessarily terrible, but the reason it's so bad is because it has the lowest projected total of the week. The Titans and the Browns, 33.5 points. That is disgusting. That is like actually so bad, chat. That's so bad. It's so bad. But Fannin technically does get I mean, hey, the ball has to go somewhere. So Fannin is my answer for you there. RJ Harvey or Michael Wilson? I would definitely be going with Michael Wilson there if there is no Marvin Harrison Jr., which it doesn't look like there's going to be. Very positive for us. Do I start Javonte over Swift? Need an answer ASAP. Yeah, I would go with Javonte here. Guys, we are just about to hit the tip off. If you haven't hit that follow button yet, hit the follow button. Those questions come up first in the order of the chat, so it's way easier for me to see it. But you can see here, Javonte does get an extremely negative matchup, chat. The Lions allow the number 1 least amount of fantasy points to the running backs. So that's not great. That's not crispy. That's not cool. That's not delicious. But we're still going to be starting him because it's Javonte Williams, and who else is there to start? Lamar or Jaden Daniels? Bro, the fact Jaden Daniels is coming back this week is absolutely blowing my mind. I don't understand how this is possible. He's a superhuman being, and that's not Glaze. But I would probably go with Lamar Jackson. Now, he is coming into this week with an injury, too. Lamar Jackson is questionable. So, honestly, if he's healthy for to go, I would go with him. But the fact Jaden Daniels is back, man, just in time to get you a fantasy championship as well. Are we starting Igbuka? We can. He definitely does move down the rankings a ton. AJ, thank you so much for the follow, man. If you guys aren't followed, hit that button, man. It's free. It takes 2 seconds. The followers' questions come up first in the order of the chat as well. So it's way more likely for me to see your question. But yeah, Igbuka is a start, but it's a lot tougher now that we have Mike Evans back. We have Chris Godwin's back. So if you can sit him, I would. But if you have to choose between him and like AD Mitchell, we're definitely going Igbuka still. One of the gifters in the chat says Jake Ferguson or Brenton Strange. I love me some Brenton Strange this week. He's been a top 10 tight end every single week since he's been back from injury. But I can't get away from this game point total for Jake Ferguson. Like it's so tough for me. It's a tough matchup though because the Lions are not allowing a lot of fantasy points to the position. But you see the 53.5 point game total. There's a chance he falls in the end zone. And if that does happen, I do like that for him. So I'd probably lean with Ferguson, but I do trust Strange. I don't think you can go wrong either way this week. Jameson Williams or who? Devin Neal. Yikes. Okay, definitely Jameson Williams. Definitely Jameson Williams there. Oh, my stream is lagging. Are we going with Justin Jefferson or Terry McLaurin? I would take Justin Jefferson. I love my boy Terry. Don't get me wrong. There's no bias either because I'm choosing Justin Jefferson. I do trust him just a little bit more that we have 9, JJ McCarthy, back in this matchup. It's not great, but it's better than Brosmer for 100%. Lamar Jackson, Darnold, or Tyler Shuck. I would definitely go Lamar there. I know he's been so disappointing this year. That is 100% a fact, especially as of late. But if he's fully healthy, I would be going with him. We can look down here at this Ravens matchup so you guys can see the matchup grade itself. Very positive for him. The Steelers are allowing some of the most points to opposing quarterbacks, so that's great. Yo, Hayden, thank you so much for following the live stream. RJ, thanks for following the live stream as well. Guys, if you haven't hit that follow button, do that for me. It takes 2 seconds. The questions by the followers are prioritized in chat as well, so it's way easier for me to see it. Jameson Williams or Amarion Hampton? I would take Jameson Williams just for the safety. We don't even know if Amarion Hampton's going to get a full snap share. Leilani again with the gift. What even is that? I cannot even tell what that is, but shout out to you. Thank you for the love. I appreciate that. Amon-Ra, is he back? Yes, he's back. Amon-Ra is back. We're going crazy, and he's going crazy tonight. Pause. A.D. Mitchell or Xavier Worthy? At this point, I'm going A.D. Mitchell, man. Let's go ahead and look at this matchup for the Chiefs so I can explain to you how bad this is, how absolutely atrocious this is. Where are the Chiefs at, chat? Oh, they're here. They're down here. I know they are. I can sense it. Look at this. 41.5 point total for the Chiefs. Insanely low, first of all. Look at these matchups, chat. Literally every single position, the Houston Texans defense is legit. If anybody tries to tell you otherwise, they're lying to you. Look at how many fantasy points. They are bottom 3 in fantasy points allowed to the wide receivers. Kamari Lassiter is a very good corner. Xavier Worthy's in for a very tough game. I would not start Xavier Worthy in this one. You're going to hope for like one deep catch or something like that. Leilani, thank you for the gift over on TikTok. I think that was a gingerbread? Question mark? Going crazy with the gifts. Appreciate that. Are we going with Strange or Gadsden? I'm going with Strange on this one. I'm a Strange believer. Bo or Mahomes? I would take Mahomes. Dobbs or Mitchell? A.D. Mitchell? I would take A.D. Mitchell. Michael Wilson or Dunze? We're going Michael Wilson. Yo, everybody drop some W's in the chat for Leilani because she's going crazy with these gifts on TikTok. W's in the chat. Shout out to you. Are we going with Jameson Williams or Nico Collins? Definitely Nico Collins there for sure. Lamar or Love? We're going with Lamar. Now, I understand Jordan Love is actually a decent start this week because he does get a good matchup. Yes, sir. Everybody in the chat. Yo, shout out to everybody dropping W's, man. Here we go. London, Franklin, or Michael Wilson, pick 2. I would sit Franklin. But you don't really have a choice if London misses. So if London misses, you're sitting him, of course. Are we going with Genty or JMO? I would take Genty, a bit safer. The matchup is not great, though, if we're being completely honest. Let's see. Pick 3. There we go. Guys, we're about to hit this tip-off of the game. If you haven't already, hit that follow button. It takes 2 seconds. It's free to do. It helps me out a ton. But the followers' questions come up first in the order of the chat as well. So it's way easier for me to see your question. Please pick 3. We got Jameson Williams, Christian Watson, Rodriguez, Troy Franklin, and Aaron Jones. Jameson Williams, number 1 for sure. I might take Chris Rodriguez in this one, and then Aaron Jones if he's healthy. If he's not fully good to go, Christian Watson. But no, it would really be Jameson Williams, number 1, Chris Rodriguez, and A.J. Brown there as well. Saquon or Javonte Williams? I would take Saquon. I see the appeal here because Saquon's not been great, but this matchup is not great for the Cowboys running backs. But it's still a spot where we like it for him. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Another super chat. My boy Daniel. Are going with Wilson, Franklin, Ferguson, Mitchell, Monungai, Evans. Pick 2. We're definitely going with Michael Wilson. If we don't have Marvin Harrison Jr., which we probably will not, I do like him as number 1. I low-key would take Mike Evans as number 2. He should be back to a full snap share. Also, guys, if you don't know, he only has to average 172 yards a game to get that 1,000-yard season again. If you don't think he's going for that, which as crazy as it sounds, he's going for that. So I'll go with them 2 there. But if Marvin Harrison does play, then you could possibly put Mitchell there. But I like Ferguson, but it's going to have to be like a decision right now. And I wouldn't start him over some of those other guys. You have the same amount of upside with some of them there. Are going with T. Higgins or Sutton? I would take T. Higgins. Are we going with Tucker, BTJ, Franklin, or Watson pick 2? Man, we're getting deep with these start sits, guys. If you haven't tried out the Walter Picks app, I would suggest trying that out. They can show you the boom and bust percentage of all your players, how many fantasy points are allowed to that position as well. It's actually insane. If you use my code Avery when you download and you haven't yet, you can get a free trial that puts you into the fantasy football playoffs. Is absolutely, absolutely amazing. So for questions like this, that's great. But as far as which 2 I'm picking here, the thing is with Christian Watson, I can go down to the Packers matchup. Like in theory, it's not that bad. But the issue is there's so many receivers. You have Christian Watson, Romeo Dobbs, Matthew Golden, Jaden Reed could possibly even come back this week. And then what in the world are we dealing with? He does get the best cornerback matchup against Stevenson, but like, is he going to get the ball? We don't know. We actually don't know. So he is the definition of boom or bust this week, which is kind of unfortunate. Troy Franklin, good wide receiver, bad matchup because the Broncos are just projected to boat race this Raiders team. Brian Thomas Jr., decent because the matchup's good. Is he going to be good, though? We don't know. I'd probably take Brian Thomas Jr. number 1. And then I'd take the risk with Christian Watson there at the flex because Trey Tucker does get matched up against Pat Surtain. Literally terrible. It does not get any worse than that. Shout out to everybody in the stream, man. We are literally minutes away from the game. Appreciate it. Shout out to you, bro. I appreciate you hopping in the chat. If you guys haven't already, hit that follow button. Followers' questions are prioritized first in the chat, so it's way easier for me to see it. And I post videos on this account so much, guys. I hope you guys win fantasy leagues. Amon-Ra's playing. Yes, sir, he is. OM, thanks for the follow. Cry, thanks for the follow. Jake as well. Okay, one of the followers just asked, are we going Devin Neal or Hampton this week? Definitely Hampton if he's fully healthy, which it looks like he probably will be. One of the gifters and followers as well, Pittman or Michael Wilson if Harrison's out. If Marvin Harrison's out, I'll go Pittman there. It's not that negative of a cornerback matchup either. Choose 2 rest of season. Ertz, Strange, or Goddard. I would take Ertz and Strange rest of season. LB3, I have not heard him called that. I like that. LB3, Tesla or Tony Pollard. Probably Luther Burden and hope for the best. Goff or Burrow, I would definitely take Goff in this one. Harvey or T. Higgins, I would take. Harvey's safest. Harvey's safest. This Broncos team is projected to win by over a touchdown. J-Mo or St. Brown, I would go St. Brown 100%. Are we playing RJ Harvey over Kareem Hunt? Yes, sir, we are. Yes, sir, we are. We're going, where to go? Here we go. Amon-Ra, J-Mo. Yeah, definitely Amon-Ra over J-Mo this week. Hurts or Goff? This is a great question. I would go with Goff, though. You can't even call me crazy on that. We look down here at this Eagles matchup. Bad. Bad. The Chargers defense is really good. They allow some of the least points to opposing quarterbacks. Hurts does get the rushing upside. It's an indoor stadium at SoFi, so there's no weather concerns here. But Jared Goff and the highest projected game total of the week with all of his weapons healthy, you're taking him every chance you get. Are going with Ladd, McConkey, Genty, or Emeka Egbuka at the flex. I would take Genty there. Ladd or JMO, I'm taking JMO. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. If you haven't hit that follow button, please do that for me. It takes 2 seconds, but the followers' questions do come up first in the order of the chat. So it's way easier for me to see it, way more likely for me to see it. Are we going with Wilson or JMO? I would still take JMO in this one. It's going to be a bit more boom or bust now that Amon-Ra is healthy and back in the matchup. But I do still like it because you see how positive this is, man. The Cowboys, 53.5 point game total between the two. Are we starting Neal or Swift? I would still take Swift over Neal. I don't love Swift this week because you have no idea what to expect now with the split that we've been seeing, but still positive there. Should I put Mike Evans in my lineup this week? If you have to, there's definitely better starting options, but the thing about Mike Evans, if he's starting, he's going to play a full snap share. Like, that's just what he does. So I do like him in this matchup for sure. We're going with Kyle Monangai or Chris Rodriguez. I would take Chris Rodriguez, honestly, but if you're taking Kyle Monangai, you're hoping for a touchdown. So there is upside there, but the Packers defense are really, really good, and they stuff runs on almost every single play. Are we going with Aaron Jones, Monty, or Mason is also on the waivers? That's tough. I would take Jones if he's fully healthy. If he's not, just pick up Mason and play him there. Burrow or Lamar? I would take Burrow for the safety, honestly. Jaden Higgins or Monty? I would take Monty there. Rest of season defenses. The Buccaneers have a really good rest of season schedule. The thing is, for the defenses, there's not that many that have like a good matchup every single week. So you probably have to roster 2 if you're in the fantasy playoffs and you want some good ones. The Buccaneers have good matchups. The Houston Texans have like 2 good matchups. I like them as well. Emeka Egbuka, Watson, or Pierce. I would honestly go Alec Pierce and hope this is one of those boom games that we see from him because it does happen every once in a while. Ferguson or Strange? Yeah, I would be going with Ferguson simply because of the game total. I do like Brenton Strange this week, but I don't think you can go wrong with either of them if I'm being completely honest with you. Is Amon-Ra playing? Yes, he is. Amon-Ra is healthy. We're starting him and Jameson Williams for sure. Why Shakir? Very positive matchup against the Bengals defense. They have been getting a little bit better. Like, they're not as bad as people think they are on paper. I will go ahead and look at this for you, though. We can see Khalil Shakir. A little bit of a negative matchup against this defense. The Bengals can stop wide receivers in the slot too, but it's Shakir, man. Who are you dealing with? Palmer and Keon Coleman? That's not target competition at all. At all. Javonte Swift or Hampton? I would still take Javonte there. I've been talking the entire night about how negative that matchup is and fantasy points allowed to the running backs, but it's still one where he's got to be started. The game point total is what's keeping this safe for us. Do I start Amon-Ra? Yes, you do. He's fully healthy, good to go. No questions about that. Eagles defense or Packers? I would take the Packers this week. Now, if we don't have Herbert playing, that's a whole nother story, but he probably will play. Strange or Goddard? I'll go Strange for sure. RJ Harvey or Jalen Warren? I would take Jalen Warren. But RJ Harvey's a good start as well. It's a way more positive matchup this week. The Broncos are projected to win this game by over a touchdown. It should be very run heavy, and the Raiders defense is not that good. Chat, hit that follow button if you haven't already. Takes 2 seconds. The followers' questions are prioritized, so they come up first in the order of the chat. Hit that button if you haven't already. Takes 2 seconds. Free to you, and I drop fantasy content on this page all of the time, so it is definitely worth your time. Jack, thank you for the follow. Christian as well. He says, are we going with Flex, Watson, or Egbuka? I would take Egbuka there. Bozzy, I think that is. Shout out to you for the follow. We're going Waller or Gadsden. Yikes, probably Gadsden there. With Jimbo playing, are we starting Amon-Ra? Well, we're starting both of them this week. We're starting both of them. Are we going Burrow, Brissett, or Lamar? I want to go Lamar. I trust Lamar. If he's fully healthy, of course, which these days, who knows if he is. Bet, yes, sir. Cowboys or Lions? I think the Lions are going to take this one. I do like the Cowboys just because I don't want the Eagles to take the number 1 seed in the NFC East again. But that's just coming from me as a Commanders fan. Like, this is the only time you'll see me rooting for the Cowboys. Pittman or Hampton? I'll go Hampton if he's fully healthy. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. If you haven't followed, hit that follow button. Free to you, takes 2 seconds. It helps me a ton as a creator, but also the followers' questions come up first in the order of the chat when it refreshes every second, too. Caleb, thanks for the follow. Noah, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you, bro. Are we going with Collins, Otten, or Michael Wilson? I will go Collins and then Michael Wilson, number 2. Andrew, thanks for this follow on the stream as well. Why sit Mechie? He's just way too boomer bust, bro. We have no idea what to expect. Javonte Williams or Monty? I would go Javonte Williams easily. If it's Jameson Williams, I would still lean him over Montgomery. Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels? Standard scoring? I would probably just honestly, I would take the risk with Jaden Daniels, but I don't want to do that in his first week back. What about Tesla? We're not starting Tesla with Amon-Ra healthy. No, sir. RJ Harvey or Genty? We're going Genty there. What do you guys think? Start Tesla today in a 14-man half PPR league? I really don't think it's worth it. Amon-Ra is going to be fully healthy this week. Allegedly. So unless you absolutely have to, I wouldn't stretch. Lamar or Dak? 100% Dak. 100%. Shakir or Devontae Smith? I would go Shakir. Call me crazy. McConkey or Harvey? I would take Harvey. Diego, shout out to you, bro. Thank you for following the stream. If you guys haven't followed yet, please do that. It takes 2 seconds. Diego says, let's see. Should I play Amon-Ra? Yes, you should. Yeah, he will play. Amon-Ra said himself. Thumbs up. So, Shaggy, thanks for the follow, bro. I appreciate you. Do I start AJ Brown? Yes, you do. It is a negative matchup, though, to be fair. Flex ETN or Pierce? I would go ETN. We always have upside with Alec Pierce, though, but see the matchups here for the Jaguars. Adams or St. Brown? I'll go St. Brown. But you got to start them both, man. That's a great wide receiver core. Guys, we're about to kick off with this game. If you guys still have start sit questions, make sure to spam in the comments. Every single person that's left in the stream. You guys are important. You guys matter. Shout out to you guys for being in the stream, man. Time is the most valuable thing we have, so I appreciate you spending it with me here. And keep spamming your start sit questions, man. We are never having enough. Myers, Franklin, or Neal to flex. I would take Myers. 100% I would take Myers there. Evan, thank you so much for the follow, bro. I appreciate that. He says JMO or Nico Collins. I would take Nico Collins, but it is a really negative matchup, so just be aware of that. Somebody said, please help. I got you. Ferguson or Strange. I would take Ferguson because of the high game total, but you can't really go wrong with either of them this week. Is London and or Marvin Harrison Jr. out? Marvin Harrison Jr. is probably out. It looks like Drake London is trending towards that as well, but we do not have the official report yet. Egbuka or Myers? I would take Myers. Metcalf or Wilson? I would be going with Michael Wilson. Flex Watson or Egbuka? Egbuka. Michael Wilson or McConkey? Definitely Michael Wilson if there's no Marv. If Marvin Harrison Jr. is healthy, though, we're going with Lab McConkey there. Are we going start sit worthy? Yeah, Lori, we are Lori, we are definitely not starting worthy, unfortunately. Very, very negative matchup. Insanely negative matchup for him. JMO, yes, we're starting JMO. Dak or Burrow, definitely Dak, 100,000%. Top 5 matchup for him. Are we going with Harvey or Ladd rest of season? I would take Harvey. A little bit safer. Stafford or Goff? 100% Goff. 100% Goff, chat. 100% Goff. Projected to be one of the higher scoring games of the week at 54.5. The only worry is that these touchdowns go to the running backs, which is definitely possible. But I do think they're good here. I mean, you can see the Cowboys are allowing the number 1 most fantasy points at the position. Yo, thank you for the follow. If you guys haven't followed yet, hit that button, man. Takes 2 seconds to follow. Free to you. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. And the followers' questions come up first in the chat, so it's way easier for me to see it. Amon-Ra or Kelsey? Or no, Rice. I mean, bro, if you have Amon-Ra and Rice, hopefully you're starting them both. JJ, thank you so much for the follow. I would go Rice, though, if I had to choose. Strange, Hampton at the flex. I would take Hampton if he's fully healthy. One of the followers asked, Watson, Wilson, Myers, pick 3, and Vele. Wilson and Myers, and then probably Watson for an upside place. Just for the upside, though. Just for the upside, chat. Guys, I appreciate everybody in the YouTube chat. If you are in here, you guys are absolute G's. Check out the YouTube if you guys haven't already. Pierce, Bam Knight, or Aaron Jones for the flex. I would take Pierce as a highest potential upside kind of guy. Safety Aaron Jones, though. If Aaron Jones plays, do we start Gainwell, Jordan Mason, or Chris Rodriguez? If Aaron Jones is in, I'd probably take Gainwell, just because at this point, like he's their wide receiver 2 behind DK. Marvin Harrison Jr. BTA. We're going BTJ. We're going Marv if he's healthy. Bowers or Pitts? We're going Bowers for sure. He's the last of the elite tier. Evan, thank you so much for the follow, bro. Make sure to spam your comments so I can read it. Are we going Monty Manungai or Jordan Mason? I would be going Monty there. Goddard or Waller? I'll go Goddard. I'll go Goddard. Troy Franklin or Christian Watson? Man, I mean, at this point, you can go Christian Watson, but they're not either really good matchups. Burrow or Brissett? I'll take Burrow there. I'll take Burrow. Yo, everybody in the YouTube chat, man, shout out to you guys. Go ahead and spam or start some questions for the last ones we got. Jordan Reed or Jaden Reed, sorry, and Watson. I would probably take Watson and hope for the best. He is still questionable coming into this matchup. Shout out to everybody in the YouTube chat, man. If you guys are in this live stream, you are absolutely amazing. We have this game about to start, so I appreciate you guys hopping in the YouTube. Everybody here is important. Shout out to you guys. I will see you in the videos coming very, very soon. Make sure spamming and start questions you guys got here to round this thing out, and we will see you in the next live stream over on YouTube. Yes, sir. Hit that like button. You guys are insane, bro. See you guys in the next live stream coming very, very soon. That is YouTube.